What's the latest? Edu has been speaking. He was asked, are you going to do any more business? And he actually did say, be patient. You're going to be happy by the end of the transfer window. We're going to go through that. What's the latest on Merino? What's the latest on Gyökeres? Nketiah. I was asked about Nketiah. Could Nketiah end up staying? We're going to talk about that one as well. And a couple of injury updates on Timber and Tomiyasu. Let's get to it. So let's start with what Edu said today. So he was asked, are you guys going to do any more transfer business and all that? People are worried. And he said, be patient. You won't be disappointed at the end. So he has said this a couple of times before. I think Josh Kroenke said that before. And to be fair, last season when he said that, we actually ended up signing Declan Rice, which was good. That was our biggest signing ever in terms of money spent, in terms of all that, in terms of, just splashing money for a player. So that was a really big signing. So he did say, be patient. By the end, everyone is going to be happy. Obviously, not everyone. Everyone is not going to be happy, even if he signed Messi, Mbappe, and Cristiano Ronaldo, and I don't know, Haaland right now. Not everyone would be happy. But he has said that be patient. We are going to get some signings done. That is basically what transfers translates to. I am pretty sure they're going to get signings done. I am sure people are going to leave Arsenal, a couple of other players. The fact that the likes of Smith Rowe have left, we have to replace him. Now injuries, the likes of Fabio Vieira, Timber is injured, Tomiyasu is injured. So we have to get some signings done. And Ramsdale could end up leaving. In terms of striker, we know we've performed really well against Leverkusen and Lyon. Like, if you watch those two games, we absolutely suffocated the opponents, and those teams are not like terrible teams. Leverkusen just had an unbeaten season, and Lyon is always a giant in France. We absolutely dismantled them. Like, just in the first half of those games, the game was over. We created numerous chances. Even the game earlier today against Lyon, the chances we created for Saka, for Martinelli, for Havertz, from corner kicks, we are so well rounded. But if we add a couple of players to that team, we're going to be unstoppable. Defensively, you're already very good. If everyone is fit, you could have spells where you go 5-6 games without conceding a goal. Maybe if you live along conceding a goal, you could have spells where you don't concede a chance at all. But it's obvious that we do need players. So at least he has said, we are going to get some things done. I'm sure they're going to get some things done. So which signings are we going to get, though? And which kind of movements are we going to see between now and the 30th of August from both Mikel Arteta and Edu? Now, there's a couple of players who've been linked with Arsenal. There's others that by now I feel like they're not going to happen, the likes of Nico Williams. That would be a surprise. If Nico Williams ended up joining us right now, it would be an incredible signing, but I doubt. I feel like he's going to stay at Bilbao. There's a couple of others who have already started their seasons, a couple of others about to start their seasons, and maybe some will sign new contracts. But let's start with Merino. Merino is the one that you're expecting it to be done very, very early this week, and this was the update. Earlier today, Arsenal have come to an agreement with Real Sociedad on a fee for Mikel Merino. Payment structure now being decided. So the amount is in pounds, so between 17 to 20 million pounds, which is a very, very good fee for to buy a player in midfield. As I said, we've already lost El Neni and Smith Rowe from our midfield. So despite them not playing that much last season, we are lacking in numbers in that midfield. Like, if we don't have a Jurrien, we don't have a Partey, we don't have a Rice, we'll be short in terms of numbers. So Merino, we already know this deal is advanced. You already know the player wants to join Arsenal. That's the first step. He's already spoken to Arteta. He's already spoken to Edu. He's already back in Spain. And basically, we've been told that Mikel Merino is waiting for Arsenal and Sociedad to agree on a fee, just like Calafiori is waiting for Arsenal and Bologna to agree on a fee. Fabrizio also had this to say. Mikel Merino's not Fabrizio, this is Fabrizio, Teams and Ticks. Fabrizio's update on Merino was that personal terms have already been agreed. But Teams and Ticks said Mikel Merino's transfer from Real Sociedad will be done next week, which is this coming week, just before the Premier League starts. I am sure you're going to get it done this week. If I was to predict, I'd say somewhere between Wednesday and Thursday, probably hear an announcement for him right before the season starts. Will he feature in the first game? I don't think so. But it's going to have him training with the team and, completing this deal and exciting everyone knowing that we have another midfielder. The midfield against Lyon was just phenomenal. Like, Rice was incredible in terms of chances created. Like, it starts in that game and watching that game, like interceptions, tackles, clearances, assists, chances created. Rice did everything. Partey today, probably his best performance in terms of preseason so far. He was controlling the midfield, didn't get exposed at all. Basically, we were getting the party from 2 years ago, 3 years ago today. Odegaard is Odegaard, chances created, incredible through passes, pressing the opponents to death and all that. The midfield is really good. Now, imagine you have Jurrien to bring off the bench. Imagine you have Mikel Merino to bring off the bench. That is exciting. And adding a player for only, 17, 18 million pounds, an experienced player, bringing more experience to that midfield. Is 28 years of age, so he's bringing more experience. He's bringing the winning mentality. He's just come from winning the Euros recently with Spain as well. So he's bringing a lot. He's definitely going to add a lot to this Arsenal team. And we've always asked for a midfielder. I wanted a defensive midfielder at the beginning of the transfer window. Actually, my priority is to get a midfielder, which you haven't yet. I think Merino would do the job for us for sure. He can play both the number 6 and number 8, and the fact that he's the player that won the most duels in the top 5 European leagues last season, he's definitely going to bring something to us. So I think this one will be done this week. As the first report said, it's only the payment structure. So we've already agreed a fee, but just like the Calafiori one and the Rice one, we are agreeing on the payment structure. Are we going to pay them the whole 17 million right away? Are we going to pay in installments? Are there any bonuses and additions in case Merino achieves something at Arsenal? We have to include all that, and that can take a couple of more days. For the Merino one, I definitely understand. He was at the Euros. He had a break. He only came back at the beginning of this month. But I'm sure you have been discussing it. I would have loved him to join us before Leverkusen to be present for these 2 particular games that he played at the Emirates Cup, but that didn't happen. We have 3 games first in the Premier League, and then we'll have an international break. I think he will be called up for Spain probably. But during this, the time by the time he signs, the time we play Aston Villa in game week 2, there's a lot of time there to try and adapt the team and get used to the situation. And the season is long. He's going to play a big part during the season. So Merino will be done this week. That's the latest on him. Next up, let's talk about Victor Gyökeres. Are we going to get Victor Gyökeres? Are we not going to get Victor Gyökeres? So yesterday it was reported that for Victor Gyökeres, Osimhen one looks very unlikely, but Gyökeres is the only striker that you're currently looking at. Less than 10 days ago, we sent scouts to watch Gyökeres play for Sporting, and that day he was incredible again. Just before that, he had scored a hat-trick in a preseason game. Their season has started. Sporting season has started. So it's a deal that is going to take time. If we end up getting Gyökeres, this one could take another couple of weeks to get done. The money is a lot, Sporting have already started their season. But the thing is, the first thing you need to do is to convince the player. We've already been told that Gyökeres would be happy to join Arsenal. The next thing you need to do now is to convince Sporting to accept the cash that you have offered for him. That is difficult. Right now, you really have to convince Sporting, especially considering the season has started. It would be very tricky for them to go and try and get another striker and all that, unless they already had it planned and they already knew that Gyökeres is going to leave and they need that money. Yeah, it's going to be a difficult deal to do. But looking at all the other strikers that we've been linked to and all the other strikers who could be available, there's not too many who are going to take us to the next level. Like today against Lyon, Odegaard created, a couple of very good chances. Even Martinelli created a very good cross. Saka, Zinchenko, so many chances created. We scored from 2 set pieces, 2-0, but that game could easily have been 5-6-0, if a couple of those chances fell to Gyökeres. I think Gyökeres would absolutely dream to play in this team. Like having those chances created from all of those players, it would be a dream for him. And considering this is the only striker that you're looking at and you've already sent scouts to watch him over the last couple of weeks, it could still happen. Maybe they're going on with the negotiations in the background that we don't know about. That would be great. Unless a different striker pops up from somewhere, I don't know. We have to wait for Sporting to reduce their price, or Arsenal will try and negotiate with them in terms of payment structure and all that. And if it actually happens, this would be an absolutely huge deal. He just underwent an operation during the off season, so Arsenal were also looking at that. That was the main reason that we sent scouts to watch him to see how he had recovered from the injury. So with the Gyökeres one, we have to be very patient. The first 2 games, we probably will go with the same score that we have with Havertz and Jesus up front. But as I said, the season is long. We don't have to have Gyökeres for the first 2 games. I would have loved to have him in June, July, and August, but it has not happened. So as of now, as long as we get him, we don't really have to have him before Wolves. Let's try and just negotiate it and get it done. I would love it if we come to an agreement today and we have him available for the Wolves game. But if not, let's try our hardest and then approach that game against Wolves and Aston Villa with Havertz and Jesus and the rest of the guys. We can still beat those teams with the players that we have. But the long season, the games where it's tight and the games where you're not going to get too many chances, those are the situations where you need Gyökeres. So let's see how this one goes. I'm sure you're going to hear something this week for Victor Gyökeres. One striker who's expected to leave Arsenal, or easy. Well, according to reports, this was reported 2 days ago by Fabrizio that Arsenal had made an Arsenal had received a new bid from Marseille. Now we know that Marseille are very, very keen on Nketiah. There is a striker that they want. De Zerbi wants him there, and we know Nketiah knows his Arsenal future is not going to be. I think he knows he's not going to have an Arsenal future. I don't know if both these two could be related. Maybe Arsenal are waiting to have a breakthrough on a Gyökeres or a different striker before letting go of Nketiah. That could be a reason. Maybe Arsenal don't want to just sell Nketiah and then we don't end up signing a striker and then we are stuck with only Havertz and Jesus. And if one of them gets injured, let's say Jesus gets injured, we only have Havertz. I think maybe they don't want to get into that situation. So maybe they're trying to have a breakthrough fast in terms of a striker and then sell Nketiah. So that is what happened last season with Rice and Xhaka. We all knew Xhaka was going to leave, but we waited until we had a breakthrough with Rice. And then that's when we let go of Xhaka. So this could be the same thing with Nketiah. I think Nketiah is definitely going to leave. I can't see him staying at all. The money that you're going to get, I think, is going to be good enough to get him. And even if it doesn't end up at Marseille, I'm sure other teams are going to come in for him. And the fact that he knows he's not going to play next season, I think he would ask for Arteta to let him go either way. Even if Arteta really, really wanted to keep Nketiah and the fans really wanted to keep Nketiah for his career, I'm sure he would want to move on because he's not going to feature a lot next season. I mean, even earlier today against Lyon, he didn't really play. So that shows me that he's going to leave. But Arteta obviously usually has to, troll us a bit. He was asked today, Nketiah's future. He said, all the players that are here, there's a biggest chance that they stay with us. So this had people in, that's why they're here. That's what he added. So this will put people in meltdown, like, oh my goodness, is Nketiah going to stay? Now, when you're asked Edin Nketiah or about any other player, let's say Nketiah in this scenario, you're asked, is Nketiah going to leave? Is he going to stay? I'm sure he wouldn't say something like, no, we don't want Nketiah to stay. We're going to sell him. You can't show the teams that are about to sign in that, yeah, you're very desperate to get rid of him. They're never going to offer that money. But if you scare them a bit, if you scare Marseille, whichever other team that wants him, that, hey, we are happy to keep him. If those teams are not going to pay that money, we are going to keep the player. We are not going to sell him. That kind of forces the other team to, make a move because they'd be worried like, yeah, you could end up giving a new contract or something. And this is the striker we're looking at. We don't have any other striker in mind. You can't just say, no, Nketiah is not staying. He's going to leave. Manager cannot say that. So I don't have a problem with what Arteta said in terms of this. It basically kind of quickens the other team in terms of, forces them to quicken up their bids and for him to move on. But the fact that he didn't play against Lyon shows me he's going to move on. Well, whatever Arteta does say, I think he's definitely going to move on because of a lot of reasons. The money, we are linked to other strikers. The player is not going to get a lot of game time. The fact that he didn't play earlier today, there's a lot of reasons pointing to Edin Nketiah leaving. So I'll not be worried about that too much. For me, I still think you're going to get Merino, and I still think Nketiah is going to leave, and you're going to get a striker. And I think Nelson and one of Kevin Ramsdale is going to leave. I still expect a lot of movement this month. Injury updates. So the latest on injury updates. Timber, will he be available for the first game? I think we have good news in terms of that. Arteta said it's fine. He's been doing some individual work. We expect him to be ready to train with the group next week. So that is good news. It was a knock. Players recovering from 9-month, 10-month injury, they're now just going to get back to the team and hit the ground running right away. They could have a knock here and then, they feel like, a bit of pain in that area or whatever. But it did have a knock and it just kept him out for like a week, but he should be back. But unfortunately, I don't think he'll be able to start next week. I think Zinchenko will be the one to start next week. But listen, no problem to introduce Timber into the team slowly. Absolutely no problem. Hopefully, by the time we get to like end of September, beginning of October, Timber is up to pace and is ready to, start games and play 90 minutes and all that. But as of now, we have to work with what we have. Calafiori, Zinchenko, we have to work with what we have. Don't rush Timber back. I wouldn't want him to be rushed back anyway from a 9-month injury. That is too much. Unfortunately, our other fullback who's injured, Tomiyasu, doesn't look like he'll be back right now, unfortunately. This is what I had to say about it. It will take weeks on that one. Unfortunately, he is going to have to be patient. So, yeah, doesn't look like we're going to have Tomiyasu, at least for the first part of the season, maybe after the international break, or I don't know, maybe the second week or third week. Tomiyasu, we already know about Tomiyasu's injury, Jesus' injury. We know even Partey, we know when they come back with that, we can't just play them every single game. We know if we have them for 5 games in a row, it's a bonus. we have to treat that as a bonus. You can't play them every single day. If Tomiyasu is fit, against Liverpool, man marking job, you play him. But next game, unfortunately, you don't play him. You wait until maybe you have a very important game and then you play Tomiyasu. He signed a new contract recently. He's a very good player. And Tomiyasu is fit. He's a very good player. He's going to really, really help you. But the injury is always cost him, and it looks like he's picked up another injury, which is it's sad. It's sad, but he's not going to go anywhere as of now. But what I can say is, let's see how this one goes. If this injury keeps him out for 2 months, then he comes back and plays 2 games, and then he gets injured again for another 2 months or something, then by January we need to start looking for we have to have a conversation, I guess, in terms of what we can do, because the injuries are too many. Like, since he came in 2021, the injuries have been too many. Like, he might even have had more injuries than Jesus and Partey, which is crazy. But let's see how he recovers. Hopefully, he does recover in time. As of now, we have to focus on Ben White, Zinchenko, and Calafiori. Those are the fullbacks that we have. Timber will be back this week. Let's see if he's going to be up to pace. But no need of rushing Timber at all. No need. So let's see how this one goes. Could this force us to go and buy another fullback? I don't know. So let's see how it goes. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you make of everything that we've talked about. I'll catch up with you.